before Muhammad Ali took on Joe Frazier on what later became known as the fight of the century, there was another fight of the century. A fight that shook up a nation. A fight between a black man and a white man that had a nation on its feet. A fight where this man right here took on that man right there. A fight that had an entire legacy to it. A fight that would later on transcend the world. And a fight that later on would change the course of history. On one side you had Jack Johnson, who was known as the Galveston Giant. Born in 1878 to two former slaves, Johnson had a terrible childhood, but he managed to surpass that and became one of the greatest boxers of his era. He began his career in 1897 and made sure everybody knew him, destroyed everybody, lost only 3 times before he was able to get a title shot in 1903 against a fellow named Denver Ed Martin. This fight was for the World Colored Heavyweight title, which was the highest price a black man could get back then in the height of Jim Crow's America. Johnson dropped Martin in the 11th round with the right hand to the neck. Martin got up, managed to go the distance but still lost the title, and with that, Jack Johnson was the colored heavyweight champion of the world. On the second hand, we've got James J. Jeffries, who was the American hero and the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. Jeffries picked up a lot of wins over his career. He started his own career at 1875 at the age of 20, where he started beating people up left and right and earned the title shot at the age of 24. Jeffries managed to knock down Fitzsimmons in the 11th round, and by that he became the heavyweight champion of the world, staying undefeated for his entire career. Jack Johnson started calling out Jim Jeffries for the heavyweight title, but Jim always refused, saying there's just too much risk involved. The title is just too precious for a black man to hold. Jack Johnson kept appearing in Jeffries' matches, taunting him, asking him for the match, but Jim just refused, saying that when there's no more white man to fight, he would go retire. And that's what he did. He retired in 1904. After Jeffries retired, 2 heavyweights stepped in the scene. One of them is known as Tommy Burns, a Canadian boxer who would go out and win the heavyweight crown. Now a new challenger is here, a new champion. Jack Johnson kept appearing in Tommy Burns matches, taunting him, until Burns finally agreed to face Jack Johnson. This was the first time a black man was given the title shot, an opportunity for the ages. The stage was set for Jack Johnson to win his first ever championship. The fight was scheduled to be fought in Australia. Tommy Burns was so confident and such in good shape that he believed he would knock Jack Johnson out. But that wasn't the case. Come the day of the fight, Jack Johnson toyed with him. Johnson kept hitting him, embarrassing him, holding him. Tommy couldn't do anything. Every time Tommy tried to go in, Jack would just hold him, hitting him with uppercuts, one after another, taunting him, talking to him.
A good right uppercut. Another ripping right uppercut by Johnson. Uppercuts, hooks, all punishing blows.
After such brutal 11 rounds, the police stopped the fight, and Jack Johnson became the heavyweight champion of the world. doing what no other black man could do. Johnson was on top of the world. He became the first ever black man to hold the title. Now, with a black man holding the title, the American people were so angry. The call-out. After Jack Johnson became heavyweight champion of the world, the American public were crazy, and the call-out for James J. Jeffries to return was in hand. Everybody started sending him letters. The American people begged Jeffries to come back, and with such determination, and with the American people insisting, James J. Jeffries agreed. The fight of the century was on. The battle of the century was on. This was Jack Johnson's revenge. James J. Jeffries was training hard. Jeffries said, and I quote, "I will lick Jack Johnson. I will lick him quick. I don't intend to stall when I meet the Negro in the ring." Johnson said he expected it to go the distance. He expected the long fight and to wear down James J. Jeffries, who was out of the ring for 6 years, and destroy him. The fight was scheduled to be fought in Reno, Nevada, the Sin City of the world at that time. The entire world was coming. Everybody traveled to Reno to see the fight. The public standing, and with that, the fight was at hand. Jack Johnson made his ring entrance at 2:30, followed by Jim J. Jeffries. The public roared for Jeffries, and by that, the battle of the century was on. From the opening bell, Jeffries stalked Johnson. He looked for a way in to knock him quick, but Johnson just countered him with his impregnable defense. Johnson kept smiling while he held down Jim Jeffries, holding him, ducking with him, playing with him. For the next several rounds, James J. Jeffries tried to get a hold of Johnson, but he just couldn't. He couldn't find nothing to hit because Johnson was just a master in defense. "Don't rush, Jim. How does it feel?" "I can do this all day, Jim," Johnson said. Johnson toyed with him, hitting him with uppercut after uppercut after uppercut, holding him while he moves in. Jeffries' defense was gone, and he couldn't find nothing to hit. Jeffries tried again and tried and tried, but no point. He was too old to fight. He was too old to catch the champion, who was rising star. By the end of the 13th round, Jeffries was bleeding. His entire body was covered with blood, his nose broken, and the entire public was shocked. Their American hero was being destroyed. Their American hero was being slaughtered. The great white hope was being toyed with. The 15th round, Johnson knocked out Jeffries. Jeffries down again. Nobody could accept it. The entire press and everybody actually helped Jeffries go back to the ring. Jeffries knocked out for the 3rd time. Keep going, but that's it. The referee decided it was over. That's it. The battle of the century was over. And the winner, yes, you guessed it, Jack Johnson. Jeffries later on admitted, "Johnson was better than I ever was." And that's the tale of Jack Johnson. That's the original story of the fight of the century. That's the original story of the first black man to ever win the heavyweight gold.